Hello, welcome to another of Amber's Horoscope Tarots. I'm going to be doing a reading for Leo for July 2018. So without further ado, I'll be using my three normal decks: Messenger Oracle, Art of Tarot, Dreams of Gaia, and I'm currently shuffling and will be drawing the Messenger Oracle deck first for Leo for July 2018. And the Messenger Oracle card we've drawn is Nurture All That You Love. This will be the main piece of advice to bear in mind, even if you forget the details of everything else, for July. If you are Leo, and this is all about taking the time to nurture the things that you love so that they may flourish and grow. The investment, the emotional investment we put into things, whether they're tangible or not, is critical in order for them to become everything you want them to be. Everything that you love, your hopes, your dreams, yourself, your family, your friends, your spirit, your creations, your relationships, all of this needs time and investment from you, and emotional and psychological and spiritual investment to appreciate it. Appreciate the positivity it brings into you now, and to invest that loving appreciation into it so that it's going to flourish and grow. If you neglect to do this, what happens is, because everything and everyone is connected energetically, as things don't get the emotional investment from you, and it hinders, stifles its flourishment and growth, and can actually destroy it, that reverberates back to you because you are connected to it. Whether it's an idea, a creation, a person, or thing, you are connected to it. So what happens to it affects you in this like manner. So the next cards I'm going to draw are the Dreams of Gaia deck. and we actually have 5 cards drawn. This sometimes happens, well, frequently happens. We get more cards than intended. And now I'm going to draw the Art of Tarot. Okay, I'm not getting a 5th Art of Tarot card coming out. So the Last Dreams of Gaia is on its own. Okay, so the first 2 cards we have for the first week of July is the 2 of Pentacles with the, there you go, can you see it? So that's the 2 of Pentacles with the Ace of Water, I believe. Okay, so there's a new love in the lives at the beginning of July for Leos, or many Leos. Now, a new love can be in a variety of forms. It's whatever form it takes, it's a new beginning. The advice of this card is for you to open your heart and follow it in this matter. Take a leap of faith in believing that whatever this new love is going to become what you hope and dream it will become. Allow yourself to dream. Your intent, your visualization of what this will become, and your amount of faith and belief and conviction in that will invest into it and allow it to become. For example, and this goes back to the Oracle card, Nurture All You Love, and the message that that's bringing to you. Say, for example, you get a new job, and it's a job you've wanted for a while, and you're full of happiness and appreciation because you've been given this role. If you have a seed of doubt there that you're going to fail, or it's not going to be everything you hope it will be, there's something's going to go wrong, you're going to mess up, this seeded out there. You are, imagine this new job as a flourishing plant. It's a seedling at the moment, and basically you're dripping poison into the soil. And that plant is not going to become everything it could become if you weren't giving it that poison and you were giving it love and energy and care and attention. And of course, depending on the extent of that negative thought, that is related to, in this analogy, the amount of poison you're giving it. If you give it too much, it's going to die. So this is about nurturing what you love, and that's emotionally as well as physically, because otherwise you are self-sabotaging yourself. You're self-sabotaging your own dreams. And if you think you were doing that, if this is something you're prone to do, and many people are, you need to look inside and ask the question, why? Where did this behavior begin? Where does it come from? And in my last reading I did, we talked about this because often it's something somebody said to you. It's something, an impression somebody gave you about you, and you took ownership of that. Yes, I agree with that. And you grabbed hold of it and brought it into yourself, and it's still there. If that's the case, you need to remember when that happened, visualize it as a ball of negative energy, and either send it down into the middle of the earth to be cleansed and purified and transmuted to life energy for everything. Or if you can, visualize giving it back to its original owner and let them take it back. If you send it down into Gaia, it will be purified and cleansed and then given back to them. So that's the better way of doing it, actually. Or use a visualization to clean it first before sending it back, so you're not going to do any harm. But you need to give it back. You need to let it go. It's not yours. It's been affecting you all this time, but it's not yours. You need to give it back. You made a decision at some point in your life to take ownership of that thought, that idea, and now you need to let it go. So this card's been matched with the Two of Pentacles, which is about your finances. Okay, so this new love is related to your financial life, and this is a good card. This is a card that is saying a good, positive business relationship, creative venture. However, you may find it difficult at first to transition because there may be differences in the amount of time and investment on your part that's required and your close family. And that can cause a bit of chaos, a bit of whenever there's a change, then there's a settling period. If people react in different ways. Excuse me. You need to allow that to happen, but don't allow it to affect you. People react often in a negative way to any change, especially when it affects them directly. For example, if it's a new job in this analogy and you're married, then the demands of your intention and time and emotional focus and investment is going to change, and more is going to be driven towards this new job. And people react, especially spouses and children, in a negative way to that because they see it as a bit of competition for attention, that your attention's been steered away from them a little bit more, and that can bring up a lot of repressed emotions and insecurities, and that can be expressed in adverse behavior. Don't allow that to affect you. Set it aside. Visualize a shield around yourself, and these waves of negativity are buffeting against the shield but being deflected. But also be aware that if you are married and are very close to somebody, people often fail to express how they're really feeling because they might think, well, I know I've got no real right to feel this, but I'm still feeling it, so I'm just going to repress it. They're not honoring their emotions, and then what that can happen is if you're connected to them emotionally, you can start experiencing those emotions yourself, and then you might express them. And that can cause a trigger for them to release it as well. Now, this is not a good way for emotions to be expressed. It's chaotic, it's out of control, it's not managed, and it can be very disharmonious to a family unit. It's much better to allow them to express it themselves, and this is a lesson we all need to learn, that our emotions are valid. Regardless of whether we think we have a right to feel them or not, we are feeling them. and we need to honor that. That doesn't mean allow them to express in a harmful manner, but the most important thing is not to repress them and not to allow them to simply explode out, but to accept you're feeling them, be aware that you're feeling them, regardless of the morality of the right and wrong, but see it as a separate part of yourself, almost like an instinct, and then they will subside naturally without them being expressed, because too many people feel that if they're feeling something, they're really feeling it and they have to express it. It's not enough people actually sit back and think, why am I feeling this? Where has this come from? Is it mine? Does it belong to somebody else? Is this stemming from something I believed a long time ago and I need to let go? And even if you can't seek, or you're unable, unwilling or unable to seek those answers, simply being aware that emotions are normal and natural, but they don't have to mean that you need to act on them. Okay, to the second cards of July for Leo. We have a reversed Page of Wands and the Two of Air, the dualistic card. Black and white. Okay, so the Two of Air is all about, there's a choice in front of you at this point in some aspect of your life in how you perceive things. Are you perceiving something as being one and the other, two halves of a whole, black and white, good and evil? It's important to realize that is all an illusion. It's not real. There is only the whole and different aspects and parts of that whole. Good cannot exist without evil. Anger cannot exist without love. They're both whole things. And too often we're led down the path of seeing a dichotomy between a whole, and labeling and identifying with one or the other. And that leads to repression, because we all contain all aspects of the whole. And when you repress aspects of them, they will be expressed in other ways by you or others that you're connected to. And you can't deal with how they originated in you unless you accept that they are part of you, and that is okay. It's good. We need all of these things inside of us. The problem with dualistic attitudes is that this divides us. It divides us internally, in our spirit and our mind. It forces us to not really know and understand ourselves, and therefore we can't understand others. But it also divides groups, peoples, families, nations. It causes division and dissent, and that's never good and healthy for anybody. It forces us to look at everything as being separate from other things, when really everything is integrated with everything else. It's all one thing. There's also to be mindful that when you create anything, you destroy at the same time, because you have to, because energy simply is transmuted or transfigured. It changes form and nature or direction. You can't create more. So when you're investing energy into one thing, you're taking it from an investment in something else. Sometimes all parties in a dispute can be right, and sometimes they can be wrong. Sometimes they can be right in different ways. Sometimes they can be wrong in different ways. It's not always the case that one person is right and one person is wrong. So this situation with this new love has led to chaos and expressed emotions in a family unit or a relationship somewhere. Just be aware that the chances are you're both right and you're both wrong. And that's okay. To simply accept that, the wrong and the right. Not one as being better than the other, or one being worse than the other. And this has been linked to the reverse page of one, so this is being linked to the creative parts of your life. So, which is likely this new love. Okay, now the page of wands reverse is indicating is that there's somebody involved with you somewhere in some fashion who's a bit of a malicious gossip, a bit of a person who enjoys sowing the seeds of dissent. One of those people who proverbially throws a smoke bomb in the middle of a crowd and then steps back and looks away as if it's nothing to do with them, but then enjoys the spectacle of seeing everyone running around like headless chickens. This is a person who is involved in this situation, in this the situations that has resulted from this new love and the change of your energetic focus in the first week of July, and maybe simply whispering in somebody's ear and stirring things up. Some people actually get energy out of doing this. They enjoy it because when we have intense emotions, we pump out energy, and then people can absorb that, and it helps to feed them. And it's normally because there's a fault in their energy body, and they're not able to get enough energy from their environment, from the earth. So basically their alternators, but their alternators faulty, and they're jacking into other people to top their battery up. And they're not aware of this. They don't understand what's going on. They just know that they enjoy. They seem to get energized and enjoyment out of seeing other people in emotional chaos. So look out for this person in this second week of July. And if you know somebody who's a bit like this, then I'd be looking very closely at that. Now, again, there's no right and wrong. These are all life lessons. This person needs to learn about themselves and how their energy body works and affects them, and what they're doing to others, and the fact that we are all connected, and it is just all one whole, as much as everybody does. And it could be that there is their perception of black and white, of dualism, which is causing this. That they've made a decision of who's right, who's wrong, and they're not going to budge from that. They're absolutely certain that's the case. One person's 100% right, one person's 100% wrong. Perhaps this is an in-law or a friend. And they have a right to view things that way, but it doesn't mean that you have to view it in the same way. Don't take on their glasses. Take your glasses off and look at things with an open mind. But this could also be an opportunity for you to help them to see things differently. But you can only do that if you're not reacting emotionally. If you're centered and grounded, and you're aware that your emotions are not really a part of your mind, they're simply a part of your body that you can control, that you can express them in a healthy way rather than an unhealthy way. There could be somebody at this time that really does need your help here, that really does need to help to see things differently, to take that mask off and see the world in a new light. If they're acting in a harmful way, stirring up dissent, the chances are they're in pain. So just bear that in mind. Even if you feel you can't help them, just have compassion for them. And perhaps advise them to seek an energy healer of some kind, or to use meditation themselves. Okay, so the third week of July, we've got the Seven of Wands paired with the 14 of Water, the King of Water. Oh, lastly, about this individual in your life, if a family member or an in-law or a friend you don't want to lose and put them out of your life, what can really help, and you don't even have to say anything, to or take them to, or pay for an energy healer of any kind or anything like that, simply invite them out on a walk in a park, or to sit in a garden with you, their garden, your garden, any garden, something to do with nature, which can help to balance their energy and drain off these emotions and help them to heal. Okay, and the Seven of Wands. Okay, so this situation is continuing into the third week of July. Now that it's coming to a head, it's getting to the pinnacle here. There is a challenge to your position in your, whether this is in your home, your family unit, your circle of friends, your colleagues. There is a challenge, and this is related to this person who's sowing dissent and gossip maliciously. Whether they intend to do that or it's unintentional is irrelevant at this time, but you feel challenged, you feel your position, your reputation, something is undermining you, you feel you're under threat. Don't despair, because there's great possibility if you succeed in overcoming this in a positive way. This is nourishing what you love, because nurturing what you love, because there's a great potential possibilities as a result of this period in your life. So don't despair, don't give up, stand strong and keep at it. And the King of Water advises, there may be somebody in your life who embodies the characteristics of the King of Water. Now, this is somebody who is a man who is strong and protective, like a safe harbor in a storm. He is a nurturer, a caring father. He doesn't believe in a woman's place and a man's place. There's no gender bias here. He is a protector, a homemaker, and a provider, but he is also sensitive and thoughtful. He is not afraid to use his emotional logic as well as his left brain analytical mind. At the same time, he uses all facets of himself in balance when he makes decisions, rather than being over emotional or over analytical. If there is somebody you know, it doesn't have to be a man. Remember, no gender bias. This can be female, male, or what any human being in your life who embodies those characteristics may be somebody that is going to be very helpful to you through this period. So seek out their advice and their counsel. Alternatively, it could be that these are characteristics that the cards are saying that you need to embody at this time to succeed in this challenge. So that means you need to be in balance in all aspects of self and bring forth the energy of the King of Water, this person who is a protector, a nurturer, a provider, but somebody who also uses both logic and emotion in their decision-making processing. Now, look at your own decisions, every decision you're making at this time, and consider where the main energy for that decision is coming from. Is it coming from your emotions? Is it coming from your logic, your rationality? Or is it coming from both in equal measure? If it's not coming from both in equal measure, then the cards are saying that's you may not get the best outcome you could do at this time if you're going to be acting in that way in your decision-making processing. The King of Water symbolizes, similarly to the Seven of Wands, where it says that if you succeed in this challenge, then the rewards are going to be very worthwhile. The King of Water card also symbolizes an approaching period of peace and calm and prosperity. A time where you will have the time and the space to simply nurture all you love and watch it grow and flourish. Okay, so if you are a male, Leo, then you need to let go of old paradigms of gender bias, that males are more logical, females are more emotional. This is an error in our perceptions and can do great harm and lasting damage to our lives and our success and prosperity. So you need to let that go and access your emotional self at this time to bring it into balance with your logical self. Conversely, if you are a female Leo, then make sure you're using your critical thinking and logical mind in equal balance with your emotional, intuitive self at this time. The next cards for the last week of July, we have the Youth reversed with the Ten of Cups. The Youth reversed with the Ten of Cups. The Cups are emotions cards. Okay, Ten of Cups is a really good card, and then brings to reality potentially what was promised in the previous week. Good relationships on all level, in every area of your life. The dissent, the chaos, the disruption, the unhelpful expressions of energy and emotions, that's all gone now. And you have sailed through it with flying colours. And so everything is settled down, everyone's more happy and more content, and so you can be as well. Now this has been paired with the reverse Youth for this week. And what that is saying is okay, so the cautionary note for this week, that if you by the end of the 4th week are to absolutely achieve this part of your life where all your relationships are settled and good and everyone's calmer and content, a potential thorn there that might prevent that from being as good as the card predicts is you. And the Youth reversed is suggesting you look at yourself. Are you You are rebelling about other people who are questioning your behavior and your focus and the amount of time and energy you're investing in different areas of your life. You are rebelling against that feeling that other people want to dictate to you who you are and what you do with your time. And that having that sense of self and the right to be you is important. But what we can often do is we can fixate on it to such an extent that we do more harm to us than good, because there is an element of selfishness there, and we have to accept and be aware of that. And your behavior does and will impact on other people. Now, whilst it's true that other people have the choice on how they react to you and your behaviors, you also own responsibility for here because of how you react. If you knowingly act in a way that's going to be harmful to others, then it is a little unfair to then criticize others for reacting emotionally to that. Now, I'm not saying that you must listen to what others are saying in critical analysis of you at this time and accede to what they want, but you need to find either the middle ground or a way that they feel that they have been listened to and understood, and that their needs are also being accepted and met here. Sometimes it's simply to acknowledge that they're okay, I understand why you are feeling the way you are feeling. Sometimes just that is enough. So they feel validated that you understand where they're coming from, even if you're not going to change yourself to and your behaviors to make them happier, because you have to look after yourself and your needs. But simply acknowledging that their needs are important as well and validating their emotions so often is just enough. So one of the words the cards uses here is in this respect is don't be too inflexible at this time. Don't be too narrow-minded at this time. Look at other options or broaden your perspective. Look at a whole range of solutions. I'll read the last paragraph. Be open and empathetic. Empathy is not sympathy. Empathy is understanding somebody else's response or emotions from their perspective, not your own. And not as if you were in their body, but trying to understand them in their body. It's not a question of giving up the things that interest you, but one of moderation and temperance. Do not pursue your freedom to such an extreme that you prevent others from having that same freedom. And this goes back to nurture all that you love, not some of what you love. Everything needs your input and your energy and your love and your investment and your nurturing energy. And so don't be too focused on this new love to the expense of what you already love and appreciate. And if you follow all that advice, if you bear all this in mind, then the outcome of this is positive, harmonious relationships. No more dissent, no more disruption, no more hurt feelings or feelings of dissatisfaction. This is going to be hugely beneficial to all your relationships. So now the last card, the outline that was drawn out for you this month for Dreams of Kaya. Let's see how that ties in. It's a fire card. It's a Four of Fire. Okay, so this is in order for you to achieve all this and to nurture your new love. This is going to take focus and dedication on your part, but remember the previous advice, not to the extreme. And what it means is that every aspect of your life needs your focused attention in various amounts depending on its importance in your life. Now, this often requires us to set aside deliberately and consciously time and energy and attention and focus at different parts of our life for all the areas of our life. So, for example, broadly, work, home, family, children, pets, and yourself and your hobbies, they all need focused attention. And we all struggle at times to provide each the nurturing that they need. But this card is suggesting that it would often, the best way to get into the habit of giving everything enough attention is to start off with almost like a militant attitude, listing everything out and apportioning time. The one aspect that we all seem to neglect the most is ourselves. And that's what normally the one at the bottom of the pile that actually never gets met sufficiently. So remember, if you don't do that, it causes disease and ill health, which then jeopardizes all of the others. So that, rather than being at the bottom of our priority list, conversely should be at the top. But not to the extreme that we neglect the others. So be fair to yourself and be fair to others, and try to schedule in time in your life for all of these areas of your life. If you're struggling to meet the demands of one area, then you need to be more regimented with yourself in focusing attention in your schedule on it. Okay, so I hope that's helpful. That's the end of the reading, and I'm sure you're going to have a wonderful month. Just bear in mind the advice, and the overall advice is to nurture all that you love, not just some of what you love this month. And the upshot at the end of this month is very auspicious indeed for you. So if you've liked the video, please like the video. Please share on social media and other platforms, and please subscribe and click the notification icon. There's an invite in the description to my free online chat community. Not mine, I'm sorry. It's there is no owner or leader, but it's the one in which I belong to. I spend most of my time, and it's called Flame. It uses Discord, which is an online free chat service. There's an invite there for you to join if you wish. My email address is there also for you to email also if you wish. And I will see you at the end of July for August's reading. Thank you very much for coming, and I'll see you soon.